He didn't have a home. He didn't even have enough money for a decent meal. But suddenly, one day, he becomes the owner of so much money and wealth that he couldn't even figure out how he got so rich. And today, you're going to find out just how much pain a person has to be in to refuse to let go of a life like that. I hope you guys can take away a great lesson from this and maybe even relate it a little bit to your own lives. So keep watching. At the start of the story, we see a guy named Arch who opens his eyes inside a very expensive car. He's totally shocked, thinking, whose car is this? He taps the home button on the car's map, and the Tesla drives him all by itself to a luxurious mansion. There, a man named Jeff meets him and says, "Sir, I am your assistant." Hearing this, Arch is confused and asks, "Wait, whose house is this?" Jeff replies, "Sir, this is your house. Is everything okay?" Arch still can't believe it. He goes upstairs to check things out and sees photos of himself that he never even took. Right then, an angel named Gabriel suddenly appears. Gabriel tells him, "I swapped your life with Jeff's." See, Arch was so shocked because in his real life, he was actually Jeff's assistant. Gabriel did this so Arch would realize that thinking someone else's life is better than mine is a mistake. Everyone has their own problems. Gabriel was totally convinced that Arch would want to go back to his old life within a week. But Arch, he is absolutely thrilled with this luxury. He starts living it up. Later, lying comfortably by the pool, he reminds Gabriel, "Do you remember what my life was like? How much I had to struggle every single day? And you think I'm going to leave all this and go back to that old life? Never." Next, we are shown Arch's old life. We see Arch texting on his phone while driving. Gabriel was actually sitting in the back seat at that time. Suddenly, a truck pulls out in front of the car. Gabriel redirects Arch's attention just in time, and he barely misses a fatal accident. Actually, that's Gabriel's job, saving people who text and drive from dying in car crashes. Then, we see Arch standing outside a shop in a huge line. This was actually one of Arch's side hustles. He works for a platform called Task Sergeant, where you can make some money doing small errands for other people. He learned documentary filmmaking in college, but he hadn't found any good work in the media for a long time. So, to feed himself, he has to do these weird, odd jobs. Today, he's standing in line for someone else, expecting a decent payout. But after waiting for 2 hours, the shopkeeper comes out and says, "We're all out of buns." The guy who hired him cancels the order, and Arch doesn't earn a single penny that day. Gabriel watches all of this from a distance. Along with this gig, Arch works another job at a super shop at night. He was on his shift when a girl named Elena comes to meet him. She asks Arch, "How's the work environment here? Are you happy doing this?" See, Elena wants to form a workers' union so they can at least pressure the owners to give them better benefits. But Arch says, "Forget it. Nothing is going to change. Don't waste my time." Later that night, they run into each other again at a taco shop. Arch is exhausted. He wasn't sleeping well. They chat about the situation, share a laugh, and Gabriel watches them from afar. After finishing work, Arch goes to his car and sleeps there because that's his home. He didn't have money for rent. When his dad calls him, he lies, saying, "Yeah, Dad, I got a new apartment. It's really nice." Then, Arch plays a podcast on his phone to help him sleep, but the app keeps asking for $6 just to remove the ads. Seeing this, Gabriel feels genuinely sorry for him. The next day, we see Gabriel at an angel meeting. All the angels have different duties. There's an angel named Azrael who helps fix people's lives, people who are depressed and hopeless. Azrael shows them the light and gives them a purpose to live. Gabriel listens intently and decides he wants to do something good too. He tells his manager, Angel Martha, "I want to save a lost soul." Martha says, "Look, that's a very hard job. You can't do it. First, you have to find someone who is truly suffering. Then you have to figure out how to help them. It's not that easy." Gabriel replies, "I know a guy who's suffering a lot. The poor guy has zero happiness in his life." Martha shuts him down, saying, "That's not your job.
Your job is saving people from accidents. Now go, hurry, because Elena is about to get into a crash. Save her or their lives will get messy. But Gabriel was too focused on Arch. He fails to save Elena. Luckily, she isn't hurt too badly, but the date she had planned with Arch gets postponed. Meanwhile, Arch is grinding all day with different gigs. He hasn't had a moment to sleep. Amidst all this, he lands a good job. He goes to work at the house of a very wealthy man named Jeff. He's tasked with cleaning Jeff's garage. At that moment, Jeff is living the rich life, sitting in cold water for 3 minutes, then taking a steam bath for 15. In that time, Arch organizes the garage perfectly. Jeff is impressed and says, "You did a great job. I'm giving you a 5-star rating." Taking the chance, Arch asks, "Do you handle everything alone? Do you need an assistant? If so, you can hire me." Jeff already liked his work, and he liked that Arch actually wanted to do something for him. So he says, "You can do a 1-week trial. If I like it, I'll keep you on."
So, Arch starts working as Jeff's assistant and does a great job. He handles everything from arranging food to planning parties. Jeff was incredibly rich. He buys a watch for $5,600 like it's nothing. Later, he gives Arch his company card and tells him, "Whatever expenses come up for the tasks I give you, just use this card." With this job, Arch's life gets a little better. Tonight, instead of his car, he sleeps in a hotel. The next day, Arch gets ready for his date with Elena. He tells his boss, "Boss, I'm going on a date with Elena today." Jeff looks at him and says, "You're going in that shirt? I have a nice jacket. It's a bit small for me, but it should be perfect for you." Jeff gives him some clothes and recommends a restaurant. "Go there. It's not too expensive, but the food is good." Arch takes Elena to that restaurant. Jeff had mentioned 2 dishes, but when they see the prices, they both freak out. They order cheap stuff, but the bill is still huge. Arch doesn't have enough cash. Hesitantly, he uses the card Jeff gave him. The next day, when Jeff finds out, he asks, "Why did you use my card for your own food?" Arch explains, "Boss, I was going to tell you. The restaurant you suggested was out of my budget. I had to use the card or I would have been humiliated. Don't worry, I'll pay you back." But Jeff feels betrayed. He fires Arch, saying, "I can't trust you anymore. I trusted you with a high-limit card and you used it for yourself." Poor Arch is devastated. He packs his things and leaves. He loses the job, and he can't find work on Task Surgeon either. To make some quick cash, he has to donate blood. This makes him physically weak and sick. He sits down at a shop and falls asleep. The security guard wakes him up, saying, "Hey, we're closing, get out." Arch walks outside only to see his car being towed by the police. Arch completely breaks down. Gabriel sees all of this and realizes Arch is truly at rock bottom. He approaches Arch and says, "I am an angel." He shows his wings and says, "I know everything about your life." He tries to comfort Arch, saying, "Don't worry, good things are coming." He shows Arch his future. He'll work for a food delivery truck. The pressure will be so high, he won't even have time for a bathroom break. He'll have to pee in a bottle. Gabriel adds, "Right now you sleep in a car, but later you'll move into Elena's mom's house. Elena's sister and boyfriend live there too. 5 people in a tiny house. It's gonna get worse. But you think that's good for you, right?" Without realizing it, Gabriel is just depressing Arch instead of encouraging him. Gabriel continues, "Don't worry, you won't be there long. You'll get a job and move, but you'll be broke. Your dog will get sick and you won't be able to afford the vet. But hey, you'll be happy." Hearing this, Arch snapped. "I can't live a trash life like that. If you can, fix my future. Otherwise, I'm just gonna end it all." Gabriel replies, "Look, I'm not allowed to do that. See my wings? They're small. I'm a low-level angel. But I genuinely want to help you. I want to make you a big shot." Arch shoots back, "You're depressing me, not motivating me. Who would want to live that life? Jeff is the one having real fun. He just keeps people like us to serve him." To prove Arch wrong and show that Jeff's life isn't perfect and has its own problems, Gabriel swaps their lives. And that brings us back to where the story started. Guys, if you are enjoying this narration so far, please take a second to hit that subscribe button below. It really helps the channel grow. Alright, let's see what happens to Jeff. Arch is loving being rich. Suddenly, Jeff, now the assistant, walks in and says, "Sir, get ready for your meeting."
Gabriel thinks, okay, now Arch will realize it's not just relaxing, he has to work. But the meeting is super easy. They just make small talk and charge the expensive dinner to the company. When Arch gets home, a repairman is there to fix the pool heater. He says it's totally broken and will cost $35,000 to fix. Gabriel says, "See, Arch? Look at the expenses. It's hard being rich." But Arch replies, "Dude, I have so much money. That's pocket change." He tells the mechanic, Yeah, don't worry about the money. Fix it ASAP." Arch then goes to the shop where he and Elena used to work. Elena has forgotten him, so Arch reintroduces himself. He takes her to that same restaurant on a date. He orders the expensive dish he skipped last time. The staff even says, "Sir, it's an honor to serve you. The meal is on the house." After the date, Elena and Arch share a kiss. A week passes. Gabriel comes back and asks, "The week is up. Do you want to go back to your life?" He assumes Arch misses his old life or understands its value. But Arch says, "No, never. I love this life. Why would I go back to being poor?" We then learn that Gabriel cannot force Arch back without his consent. If Arch wants, he can keep this life forever. And Arch is definitely not in the mood to switch back.
Martha scolds Gabriel harshly. "What have you done? I gave you a simple job, nudge people so they don't crash. Instead, you flipped a man's life upside down. You didn't help Elena, so she had an accident and their date got pushed back. And now you've changed Arch's entire destiny. This is wrong." She tells Gabriel, "I'm taking your wings until you fix this. You won't be an angel again until everything is back to normal." The scene shifts to Arch's party. Gabriel rushes to meet him. People can see Gabriel now because he's human. Gabriel asks, "Isn't this unfair to Jeff?" Arch ignores him. Helpless, Gabriel finds Jeff and restores his memories. Jeff is shocked. Why is he working in his own house? This is his party. The shock is too much, and he faints. When he wakes up, Jeff is told everything, that he was a millionaire living Arch's life. He begs Arch, "Give me my life back, brother." He offers a deal. "If you switch back now, I'll give you $100,000. Arch laughs. "My watches are worth more than that. You're such a cheapskate." Gabriel warns Jeff, "You can't bribe people to swap lives." Jeff tried sympathy. "I didn't know you were homeless. I never would have fired you, but stealing my whole life over a mistake? That's crazy." Gabriel tries to reason with Arch, saying Jeff worked hard for this. Arch says, "Give me some time. Let me enjoy this a bit more. Then maybe I'll go back to my exhausting life." Jeff agrees to give him time. Arch challenges him. "Live like a normal person for a few days. See how the poor survive." Jeff arrogantly replies, "If I were in your shoes, I'd go from poor to rich easily." Jeff tries to leave, but Gabriel stops him, saying, "I need a place to stay too." Jeff takes him to a hotel. But in the morning, the staff kicks them out because they can't pay. Jeff begs, "I'll get you the money by tonight." The next day, Jeff starts working for Task Sergeant just like Arch did. He can't even drive the car without the 360 camera. He hits another car while reversing. Gabriel tries to help him. Jeff starts realizing how hard poor people have it. Robots are taking jobs and customers scream at them for the slightest mistake. On a delivery, a customer yells, "You ruined it. I'm giving you 1 star. I'll destroy your gig." After working all day, Jeff finds out he won't get paid for a week. He calculates, "We burned more gas than we made. We lost money, bro." That means they have to sleep in the car. Meanwhile, Arch is having a blast. He asks Elena, "Want to go to Paris this weekend?" Elena says, "I have a union meeting. I can't go." Arch asks her to move it. He wants one last trip before maybe going back. But Elena gets offended. She feels Arch looks down on her work. She says, "My life might be small, but it's important to me. You stay in your mansion. I'm happy with my simple life." She leaves. Arch is hurt. He texts her while driving, desperate for a reply. Distracted, he gets into a terrible accident. Gabriel tells Jeff that Arch is in a coma. Jeff screams at Gabriel, "Stopping people from texting and driving is your one job. How did you mess this up?" Gabriel says, "How could I save him? I was with you." Now they have to wait. They can't switch back until Arch wakes up.
Because Gabriel failed to save Arch, he is fully banished from being an angel. He's stuck as a human until he fixes it.
As a human, Gabriel gets hungry. Jeff teaches him how to eat a burger. Gabriel is delighted by food. Jeff checks online and sees people usually wake from comas in 2 weeks. To survive, Jeff decides to go to his old office. He knows the business secrets, so he thinks he can dazzle them and get a job. But security throws him out. They think he's a hacker, not a genius, asking, "How do you know our company's secrets?" Gabriel gets busy doing human stuff. He discovers the internet and laughs at videos of baby elephants. Jeff gets annoyed and says, "Bro, get a job. I can't support us both." Gabriel starts washing dishes at a restaurant. When he gets his first paycheck, he freaks out over the taxes. "I earned this and the government took it? That's robbery!" A coworker tells him, "You might need another job. I work 3 just to survive." Gabriel is finally feeling the human struggle. Arch wakes up from his coma. The nurse says, "2 guys were asking about you. Call them." Arch hatches a devious plan. He asks the nurse, "People lose their memory after coma sometimes, right?" She nods. Arch decides to fake amnesia. Just then, Jeff gets a food delivery order to his own mansion, where Arch is sitting. Jeff realizes Arch is awake. He storms in, but Arch pretends not to know him. "Bro, sorry, I don't know you. Who are you?" Jeff is frustrated and tells Gabriel. Jeff yells, "Let me talk to the creator. How is this fair?" Gabriel says, "I have no power. I'm human like you." Gabriel is even chain-smoking now. The stress has turned the angel into a smoker. Jeff asks, "Are you gonna wash dishes and smoke forever, or do you want your wings back?" Gabriel gets an idea. "The mess started because I didn't save Elena. If I can get Elena's life on the right track, maybe Arch will fix himself." Elena is giving speeches, trying to motivate workers to form a union, but she loses the vote by a huge margin. Gabriel is heartbroken. Meanwhile, Jeff gets fired from the delivery app because they are replacing humans with robots. He's frustrated. This is impossible. How do normal people do this? My old life was just vacations and meetings. Police arrive and tow Jeff's car because of unpaid tickets. The officer says fees go up every day it sits there. Jeff hits rock bottom, wondering how any poor person ever gets ahead. Gabriel notes, "This happened to Arch too. That's why he doesn't want to come back." Jeff sees no way out. They are going to starve. Then he remembers, "Wait, I have expensive watches in my house. And I know the vault code." They go to the mansion. It's Jeff's 40th birthday, and Arch is throwing a party. Gabriel says, "Stealing is wrong. We'll get beat up." Jeff replies, "It's all mine. How is it stealing?" Inside, they see Arch copying Jeff's dance moves. Jeff is furious, but sneaks off to the vault. At the party, Gabriel accidentally eats special chocolates and gets high. He starts rambling to a girl about being an angel. Luckily, Elena is working there as a waitress. After the party, Arch asks her to stay. They dance. Elena says, "You were right. The union was a waste of time. Workers don't know what's good for them. I can't fight this system alone." She adds, "Let's go to Paris. Maybe if I don't do this, my life will be meaningless." Arch stops her. "No, don't think small. As long as people like you exist, the world can change. If you give up, nothing happens." Arch goes to sleep. Jeff has the watches and tries to leave. Suddenly, Arch appears with a gun and starts shooting wildly. He accidentally shoots Jeff in the shoulder. Jeff screams, "Are you crazy?" Arch says, "When I was your assistant, you told me if anyone enters your room while you're sleeping, shoot them in the head." Jeff realizes, "You remember. You didn't lose your memory." Gabriel hears the screaming and runs in. They rush Jeff to the hospital. Gabriel asks Arch, "Why did you lie about the amnesia?" Arch admits, "My old life is trash. It's poor and painful. No fun, no peace. Jeff's life is fun, and I didn't ask for this. You gave it to me. I'm happy, so what's the problem?" Gabriel says, "If you really wanted to change your life, you could have done it earlier." I feel bad for Jeff. Until you truly feel your own life is worth living, you can't go back, and poor Jeff is stuck. Jeff loses it. "Who would want to go back to that? I lived it for 4 days and it's hell."
Arch says, "Let's all go home, to your home. We'll live there like three brothers." They end up in the steam bath, chilling and living the good life together. Suddenly, Martha appears to Gabriel. "I gave you an easy job. Now you're washing dishes and smoking? I see everything." Gabriel admits human life is hard. He asks, "How do I show Arch hope? Give me a hint." Martha says sometimes a lost soul doesn't need an angel. They just need a good human.
Later, the three go out for tacos. They run into Elena. She's trying to build the union again. She realized she has to keep fighting until she wins. They all go dancing. Arch notices Gabriel dancing happily, then suddenly looking sad. Arch asks, "What's wrong?" Gabriel says, "I'm a stupid angel. I ruined everything. I went from a good angel to a smoker." "Do you get it?" Arch says, "You came to show me my life was worth living, but look how you changed. But you can't give up." Gabriel replies, "I came to show you, but you chose the mansion over your real life." Arch admits, "I don't need the luxury. I just want a decent life. If I go back, will I get my job, my car? I'm scared I'll go back to nothing." Gabriel says, "When I became human, I was scared too. I washed dishes, slept in a car. But there was good stuff too. I loved dancing. I made a friend, like Jeff, and I like you too." Hearing this, Arch says, "You're a good angel. I want you to be my angel." Influenced by Elena's refusal to give up, Arch decides to face his reality. As he says this, he transports back to his old life. Jeff wakes up in his own bed. He finds a parking ticket of Arch's. When Arch goes to pick up his car, he finds Jeff has already paid the fine. Arch calls his dad. "Dad, today feels tough." His dad says, "It's okay, son. Problems happen. But I trust you'll fix everything." Arch feels at peace. Jeff starts changing his company. He announces, "Remove the delivery robots, let humans do the delivery and earn decent money." The board objects, but Jeff says, "I still have the controlling shares. What I say goes." Arch starts the delivery job again. The pressure is high, he barely has time to pee, and everyone else quits. But he pushes through and eventually starts looking for documentary editing jobs. His life slowly gets better, and whenever he eats, he always saves a small portion, just for Gabriel. And with that amazing turn of events, the story ends here. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I'm signing off for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye!